Hello friends, in this video lecture we will discuss about the steps of animal nutrition. In NCERT this is mainly given for human beings, but here we will also cover about few more aspects of animal nutrition. So first, if we discuss about the steps of nutrition, broadly these are 5 here in a proper sequence. So first, ingestion, second, digestion, third, absorption, fourth, assimilation, and fifth, this is egestion or defecation. Ingestion is about intaking of food substances. Digestion is about breaking of food material, that may be physical as well as with the help of chemical, or we can say enzyme. This may be inside the cell, that is intracellular, outside the cell, extracellular. The next is absorption. This is about mixing of digested food from digestive system to blood. This may be actively or passively. While next is assimilation. So here in assimilation, this is about mixing of digested food inside the individual cells cytoplasm, where they may further be converted into complex food material. And last, this is about egestion or defecation, that is removal of undigested food through the last of alimentary canal. If we discuss about the steps of animal nutrition for unicellular organism, so with respect to these 5 steps, there are simply 4 steps. That 4 are ingestion, digestion, absorption or assimilation, and the fourth is egestion or defecation. There is no difference in between absorption or assimilation in unicellular organism. Ingestion also for a unicellular organism is known as endocytosis, while egestion or defecation for unicellular organism we can better use the term exocytosis. So endo is about intaking of substances inside the cytoplasm, while exocytosis, so exo is about exit, that is removal of substances from the cytoplasm, that is outside the cell. Now one by one the details of every and each step of animal nutrition. So first, this given here is ingestion. As we discussed, simply this is intaking of food material. Here how food material is taken in by the organism, on that basis we may categorize organism into 3 categories: fluid feeders, filter feeders, as well as macrophagous animals. First, this is about fluid feeders. So as the name suggests, fluid feeders, they are feeding on liquid substances or fluid substances. Here the examples are like amoeba, leeches and aphids. Now on what kind of substances they are feeding? So amoeba, this may feeds on very small microscopic organisms which are present in water body. Amoeba, as we know, this is freshwater inhabitant. So the liquid material which is taken in by amoeba, the process is known as pinocytosis, and this also known as cell drinking. Next is about leeches. So leeches feeds on blood. They are ectoparasites. This type of nutrition is known as sanguivorous. The last one is about aphids. They are feeding on plant sap or plant juices with the help of their mouth parts. The process is fluid feeding. The next one is filter feeder. They feeding on microscopic organism, that's why they also known as macrophagous animals. Here they feeds on bacteria, diatoms, protozoans, unicellular algae, etc. along with the water current. Later on this water is eliminated out, while the food material which are bacteria, diatoms, protozoans, they are taken in by the organism. So what are the examples of filter feeders? These are sponges, corals, molluscans, mosquito larvae, as well as tadpole of frog. The third one under ingestion is about macrophagous animals. So they feed in large with respect to microphagous or filter feeders as well as fluid feeders. Examples are like frog, lizards, birds, rabbit, tigers, human beings. There are so many. So we can say most of the animals, they are macrophagous in nature. Frogs and lizards, they have reversible and sticky tongue just for the ingestion process. Birds, they have beak for ingestion of food material. Rabbits, they have incisors along with tongue. Tigers, they also have incisors and tongue, but the main helping one here is canine teeth. This is all about ingestion. Now, the second step of animal nutrition is digestion. As we discussed earlier, digestion is about breakdown of food material. This is about conversion of complex, insoluble food material into simple soluble substances. And this occurs by physical breaking with the help of teeth as well as jaw muscles, while also maybe like chemical breaking with the help of enzymes. And here there is breaking of substances or simplification of complex insoluble substances into simple soluble. That's why the process is catabolic in nature. This occurs here by the help of enzyme. So this is catalytic catabolic process. Now about the types of digestion. So as we discussed, digestion may be of two types, inside the cell or outside the cell. So if this occurs inside the cell, this is intracellular, and intracellular mode of digestion is the simplest type of digestion that occurs in food vacuoles of individual cell cytoplasm. Examples are protozoans, poriferans as well as coelentrates, they also known as cnidarians. Next, intercellular or extracellular digestion. Here digestion occurs in between two cells. This is intercellular, or we also can say outside the cell, that is extracellular. So this kind of digestion is advanced type of digestion. This occurs outside the cell or in the lumen of digestive tract, as in case of intestine, as in case of stomach. So stomach as well as intestine, they have a lumen, that is a space which is surrounded by the muscles of stomach as well as intestine, and in that space there will be digestion with the help of digestive juices. So if we discuss about examples related with inter or extracellular mode of digestion, this is about coelentrates, platyhelminths up to phylum Chordata. So all the phylums which exist here in between, like Aschelminths or Nematoda, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata, and finally Chordata. So in all these phylums, the members carrying intercellular or extracellular digestion. Here one thing that is catchy and is very important, this is given here about coelentrates. So coelentrates or cnidarians, they have both intracellular as well as inter or extracellular mode of digestion. So they are the transitional one in between intra as well as intercellular mode of digestion. So this point is very important. After digestion, the third step of animal nutrition is absorption. Here this is about mixing of digested food into blood or lymph, that also known as body fluid. So this process is going to be across the plasma membrane of intestine as well as stomach. Maximum absorption occurs through the intestinal wall, and this absorption process can further be divided into two: active absorption as well as passive absorption. So first is about passive absorption. So passive absorption, this always occurs along with concentration gradient. What is concentration gradient? This is about difference in the concentration. difference in the availability of food material on both sides of the membrane. So passive absorption always occurs along with the concentration gradient, that is high concentration to low concentration movement. And what are further characteristics of passive absorption? So as movement occurs from high to low, so this is a slow process. There is no energy requirement in terms of ATP, and the process will continue till equilibrium achieves. Passive absorption further categorized into three: simple diffusion, osmosis, as well as facilitated diffusion. In simple diffusion, this is about movement of substances simply without any kind of membrane from higher concentration to lower concentration, and this is for chloride ions, glucose, fatty acids, cholesterol. Second one is osmosis. So osmosis is a special type of diffusion which is going through semi-permeable membrane, and this is only for solvent, that is water as well as alcohol. So water and alcohol, these two substances move along with semi-permeable membrane through high to low concentration. The third one is facilitated diffusion. So facilitated, as the name suggests, this is facilitated. This occurs through plasma membrane, but only the protein channels which exist in the membranes through that one. And again, there is no need of energy. This also occurs from high to low concentration. As we discussed, all the three are types of passive absorption where process is not requiring any ATP. This process continues till equilibrium attains, and this is slow process, and in this process movement of substances occurs from high to low concentration. So fructose and mannose, these are the carbohydrates which are getting absorbed by means of facilitated diffusion, or we can say facilitated absorption. The second mode of absorption is active absorption. Active absorption, this occurs against the concentration gradient, means low concentration to high concentration, and as we know, this is against the nature, means in nature substances are moving always from high to low concentration, but here this is against the nature. This is from low to high concentration movement. That's why for this process energy is needed in terms of ATP, and if there is huge rapid supply of ATP, then the process will also become faster. So this may be rapid with respect to passive process if there is availability of ATP, and this process always going through protein channels of cell membrane. Here this is occurring through carrier molecules that present in cell membrane like permease as well as translocase. So these kind of channels required for completion of active absorption. There is a number of food materials which are absorbed actively. Why active absorption occurs? Because this is for highly needed substances which are mainly needed for maintaining our metabolic activities like glucose, galactose, amino acids, sodium ions. So glucose is also given here in simple diffusion. So glucose exchange occurs by both simple diffusion as well as active transport. There are also few amino acids which are getting exchanged by the process of simple diffusion, but maximum of glucose, maximum of amino acid and all sodium ions, they absorbed actively from low to high concentration. Galactose is only present in case of milk sugar, and this also getting absorbed actively. The fourth step of animal nutrition is assimilation. So when digested food material is getting absorbed and by blood, this reaches to every and each cell of our body, then by blood this supplied to the individual cells cytoplasm, and here there is participation of that food material in the process of cellular respiration. If this is in excess, then stored for further use. So assimilation is about the use of simple food components for the synthesis of complex compound and also to get energy. When there is oxidation of this food occurs inside the cells, the site of oxidation is mainly mitochondria. The last step of animal nutrition is egestion or defecation. So this is about removal or elimination of undigested food material in form of feces or excreta through the last of human alimentary canal, that is anus. This is last part of a large intestine. So this is all about steps of animal nutrition. Again, these 5 steps are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion or defecation. When we discuss about the steps for unicellular organism, then there is no difference in between absorption and assimilation. That's why we have to say ingestion or endocytosis, digestion. The fourth one is absorption or assimilation. The fifth, that is egestion or defecation. We can also use the term exocytosis.